Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video by me, FoxyNoTail, here on the truly Bedrock survival server. And I have been working on my house a little bit more outside of the episode, and it's night time, which is a good time to show off what I've been doing because I've been making sure nothing can spawn in there. I'm sick of having creepers and stuff hanging around and spawning in here. So I've gone absolutely crazy with lighting everywhere and adding some decoration as well. And I really like the feel of it I've got so far. I'm missing a little bit of bamboo for the stalks of those plants, but we'll go back to our one chunk build and grab some of that a little bit later on. For now, I just want to show you what I've done. So we've got this like floating shelf here, which is hanging from the beams with a chest and some barrels on there. We've got a couple of nice big deep sofas. We've got some storage at the back over here. You can see we've got some zombies outside. We've got some nice little shelves at our fireplace. Some of them have a little bit of carpet on top just to make it look a little bit more interesting, like it's got a cloth on there. Another one of these fancy shelves over here as well, with an ender chest and a normal chest by the door, and also a crafting table there, just in case I ever need to just nip in quickly and grab something. On the other side, we've got another plant and another one of those. I'm not going to worry about the basement right now. We'll go down there later. We've got a couple of bookshelves here with another little table thing as we spin round to our bedroom. Another big unit thing with an ender chest on there, a chest for random stuff down there. And then next to the bed, we've got a crafting table here just for ease of access, just for like when we need to craft stuff. And this bed is usable. If we go to sleep in there, you can see I can actually sleep in this nice big giant bed, and I am actually tucked in under the covers. So yeah, kind of nice. I had something very similar to that in season 1. Round here we got some more useful blocks. I've got an iron block above the anvil for no particular reason, and some things just to shove stuff in. You know, you always come back with stuff in your pockets and you just want to shove it somewhere. It keeps it out the way. It saves you having to spend hours messing about with your storage system. Upstairs, I haven't really done a great deal with this other than adding some hanging lanterns just to keep this place nice and light. Again, a little bit more greenery, just because, yeah, I just felt like it needed something up here. Another little table and some barrels and shelves over here. Again, just for sort of random junk, really. And that's pretty much it. I haven't really done a great deal else other than down in the basement I've added a little bit more storage. Well, I haven't really added more storage. I've kind of moved stuff around a little bit and just made it a little bit easier to access. So got rid of my armor stands, which were there. They're now over here. And I've put some anvils there for ease of use. And I've got rid of all of the junk chests from behind there. I've now sorted those out. And they are all pretty much crammed into these chests here. And that's it. That's all I've done. So now I guess we can get cracking with today's episode, which is all about... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I don't know yet. I haven't planned it. Oh, mate, wait a minute. I'll figure it out. Oh, jeez. We've got to plan things. Jeez. Can't we just do it off the fly, you know? Speaking of flying, ow. Oh, that was painful. One thing I do want to do today is I really want to move this nether portal, and the place I think I want to move it to is inside this mountain. So in the last episode we mentioned that there was going to be like a pathway or a road coming through from this direction. It's going to come through these trees, it's going to come around the corner, and it's going to end up leading to a bridge, which is going to lead to our plateau with our castle and everything on there. And I thought it would be nice if the nether portal was part of this mountain and leading up to the path. So we have the path going down there, which we could probably do today. If we dig out a chunk of this and just have a big nether portal in there, that'll look kind of cool, I think. And I know we've got one of those ruined portals to the side here. This is completely useless. We'll have to tear this down and get rid of it. It looks cool, but yeah, it's... Ooh, I haven't even raided the chest yet. But yeah, it's in the wrong place, sadly, and we don't need it. So I'll rip that out. I'm going to make some path work going along there, and we'll add the portal room in there, I guess. Oh, and Groover's just come online. Let's say hello. Hey, Groover. Before we get too bogged down with roads and paths and portals, though, there is something you might have noticed. For the last few videos, I've not been using a sword at all. I've had a bow sometimes, but not a sword. I've been only using my axe to fend for myself against other mobs. And it leads me to a thought. Is the axe more powerful than a sword? You can see it's got 13 plus attack damage on that axe there. It is a netherite sharpness 5 axe. What's the difference between that and a netherite sword with sharpness on? And I think that's a good time to go into our creative testing world and figure this out, because I've got a feeling the axe is just about as good as a sword. Before we start doing testing on Bedrock Edition, I thought I would come over to the Java edition of the game and look at the weapons and stuff in here, because things are a little bit different, but we can get a good idea of what's supposed to be going on. So if we look at our netherite tools, you'll see I've got a sword and I've got an axe. The sword is classed as a combat item and the axe is classed as a tool. However, you'll see the axe has 10 attack damage, but the sword only has 8. You'll also see that in Java Edition we've got 1.6 attack speed on the sword and only 1 attack speed on the axe, which means that the axe is actually stronger but slower. And the reason it's slower is because on the Java Edition of the game, if you didn't already know, there is a cooldown. Can you see the little sword in the middle of my screen? If I spam the sword too quickly, it doesn't do hardly any damage at all. I need to wait for it to recharge in order for me to do another swipe. So the axe is technically inferior because it's much slower to charge up compared to the sword. The sword will charge up very quickly and the axe will charge up quite slowly. Now, the sharpness ones actually take those from 8 and 10 up to 11 and 13, but the attack speed stays the same, and smite keeps 8 and 10, but obviously that's better against undead things. So I thought if we get a vindicator, we can get a good idea of how good these things are. If we get the sharpness sword and give him a whack, he takes 1, 2, 3 to go with the sword, whereas with the axe it is 1, 2 and 2 hits with the axe. So you can see the axe is much stronger than the sword in Java Edition, but it is a lot slower. Now for the wither skeleton, if we use the smite tools, go 1 and he's gone in 1 hit with the sword, and I guess it's going to be the same thing for the axe as well. It wasn't. Let me try that again, because it might have just been the way I hit him. Let's try that again. Fully charged. Yeah, 1 hit for the axe as well. I don't think it was fully charged up the first time. So in Java Edition, the axe is definitely stronger, but it is slower, which means it is still a good idea to carry around a sword if you need to get rid of mobs quickly. Whereas on Bedrock Edition, if we look at these things, the axe is actually slightly weaker. The axe has 7 attack damage, but the sword has 8, and with sharpness that's 13 and 14, and with smite it's 7 and 8 again. The difference is on Bedrock Edition, there is no cooldown. You can swipe your axe just as quick as you can swipe your sword, which means technically it's almost as good as the sword. It's only 1 attack damage different, whereas on Java Edition there was quite a big difference. It was 11 and 13. This is 14 and 13. So let's see what that means. If we use our normal sword on this cow, it takes 1, 2 hits, and the axe takes 1, 2 hits. Fair enough. What about critical hit? I never looked at critical hit. Let's put the cows back in there. If you don't know why I'm putting them in these boxes, it's just to stop them wandering about. If we do a critical hit, which is when you jump and do it, yeah, you can do that in 1 hit with the sword, and the same thing for the axe. Now, the sharpness 5 sword against the Vindicator, 1, 2 for the sword, and 1, 2 for the axe. So there we go, just as strong, pretty much. There's hardly anything different. Again, let's try the critical hit. So we'll do a jump and swipe, 1, 2, and I'm guessing the axe is going to be the same. 1, 2, there we go. And the smite 5 sword with the wither skeleton, it's going to be 1 hit, and the axe is also going to be 1 hit. So there you go. There really is no real advantage on Bedrock Edition for using a sword. You might as well use an axe, because at least you can use that for chopping down trees and anything to do with wood as well. Now, there are a couple of mobs I would like to try this with as well, just because these tend to have quite a lot of strength. So let's pop a couple of... Oh, me guardians have jumped off, mate. Yeah, let's try these. So the guardians will be affected by sharpness. So let's see how many hits with a sword for a guardian. Come back here, you. 1, 2. And with an axe, 1 and 2. Ooh, and 3. But that could have not been a fair test because it was bouncing about. Let's dig a hole in the floor and let's... Oh, wow. Get our guardian in here. Let's try that again. So 1, 2 with a sword, and with the axe it is 1, 2, 3. So yeah, there is a difference. The guardian has actually got just enough hit points to take 3 swipes with the axe as opposed to 2 with the sword. So if you're running a guardian farm, it might be a good idea to use a sword rather than an axe. That seems pretty consistent, although if we do critical hits, we can still kill it in 2 hits with the axe. Critical hits with the sword, again, still takes 2. Blazes are affected by sharpness as well, so with the sword it's 1, 2 hits, and the axe, again, 1, 2. And to get a real test, we need a mob that's got a lot of health, so why don't we try one of the Ravagers? So now we got a Ravager in a hole. Let's see how many hits this takes with our sharpness sword. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits with the sword. And what about with the axe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's only one more hit. It really is not a great deal of difference in these two things. Let's just try that with critical hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And with the axe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we go. Exactly the same with critical hits, and with normal, there's only one swipe difference on Guardians and Ravagers. So yeah, I don't really see much point in carrying around a sword with me anymore on Bedrock Edition, so I'm just going to be carrying an axe from now on. And a bow. Bows are still useful. Don't worry about a bow. And if you're worried, and if you're interested to know the difference between bows and crossbows, I actually did the test of those a long, long time ago. Bows are far superior to crossbows in every way, unless you're using the damage, firework, jobbies, and you've got strength and harming tipped out. Yeah, basically, bows are better, okay? Realistically, bows are better. And when I say bows are better, what I mean is they're faster, more accurate, and stronger in general. The crossbow is stronger if you're using multi-shot with harming 2 arrows, but I think that only counts if you manage to get each of the arrows to do damage to the mob, which is a bug. It shouldn't do that. So anyway, yeah, back on with this. We're building paths. Let's get on with our paths. It has just occurred to me that I'm going to get a whole bunch of comments saying about looting 3. Looting 3, obviously, you can't get on an axe, but you can on a sword. And to be honest with you, that's only particularly useful if you're farming at items, which we've discovered, like if it's a Guardian farm anyway, you're better off using a sword. So yes, if you're doing a sword-based farm, or if you're using a mob farm and you want the most drops and you're using looting 3, then absolutely. But just for general play, just for general running about, you don't need looting 3. Oh, that's my thoughts anyway. You might feel differently, but I don't need like loads and loads of items from things I'm just randomly killing. So yeah, I'm going to stick with an axe. Not say, hey, he's got an axe. He's on my wavelength, that guy. Oh, he's dead. Oh, sorry, mate. Jeez. Oops. Well, as you can see, I have been very busy. Hopefully you got some sort of a time lapse there to show you the path building and all of the work going around that. So we've done the path, obviously, which is supposed to be like a cobblestone road, like a medieval cobblestone road. I've used lanterns along the side of it for a little bit of lighting, and we've lined the road with the spruce trees as well and used a little bit of bone meal just to grow some stuff around it. We've got some cobblestone walls by there and some like little shrubby tree bits with lights underneath as well, just to try and keep it a little bit lit. It is very, very mob spawny around here at night, and it's caught me out a couple of times with creepers and things like that, so I'm trying very hard to keep things lit. The nether portal has completely gone. That's all gone. That's been dealt with, and round the side of the house here, I've actually made another little way in and out of the storage area because I spent a lot of time coming back up and down here as I was working on that. So we've now got an easy way in and out of our storage area from the outside, which means we can work on this a little bit easier. And I'm really happy with it overall. I'm really, really happy with how it all looks. I love the path, and obviously this bit's going to be leading up to a bridge, so that's why it just sort of stops dead there. Really, really like it. But now I need to move the nether portal inside here and come up with some sort of design for inside of there. Now, I could just have it as a basic portal leading up to a path, but I might have a few ideas for that as well. And it is nighttime again. Time to go to sleep again. Quick, bedtime. The monsters are coming. Welcome back, but I didn't go anywhere. No, I went somewhere. It's the next day, and another live stream has been and gone, and we now have a rather ridiculous looking wall going up to our plateau. It's still not as high as it could be, and there's a lot of flat areas. I need to jankify it up a bit, stop it looking quite so flat, but this is really starting to come along now. I'm really happy with it. The live stream was around about 2.5 hours long, in which we placed loads and loads of cobble and all of the stone and andesite and bits above that as well. And I'm really happy with how this is coming along. If you want to catch the live streams, we've been doing Q&As on there recently and talking about topics that people seem to find interesting. If you want to check those out, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/FoxyNoTail. And yeah, check that out. And if you don't want to catch them live, or if you don't have time to catch them live, I do upload them all to my second channel, which is Foxy2. Link is in the description below. You can check them out on there. Yeah, really happy with that. But before that all went on, if we hop over to our little area where we're building a portal, I started digging a rather large hole, as you will see. Yeah, we got a big hole. And I also want to get some of those red nether wart blocks and red stuff and add that into there, just so it looks quite nethery coming through here. Maybe some crying obsidian kicking around the place as well. Yeah, and then we can finish that off. But for right now, I don't have many of the... Oh, I'm only tiny. I'm tiny next to this wall. Yeah, I don't have many materials at all like that. So I've got an absolute ton of netherrack. So we're not short of that. I've got some quartz and gold ore, and I've got some nether brick blocks, and I've got a little bit of soul sand and some magma blocks, but I don't really want them. I want the new stuff. And the only place I've got new stuff is in this box here, and you can see I've hardly got any. I do have a reasonable amount of crying obsidian, but yeah, I need to go and gather a load of those stems. So I think I'm going to do that first, gather a load of that up, and then get building the rest of that portal room. Before we do that though, I forgot to mention that we got a dog in our live stream that they called Cute Baby Turtle. For some reason, I like it, but I don't know why. But yeah, we've got a dog now, which is good. And I'm just nipping in here to grab an ender chest so I can show you an easy way. I say easy, it's still not easy, but a reasonable way of getting this stuff rather than just going and harvesting it all from the nether. So two things I've got an absolute ton of are bone blocks and netherrack. I've got absolutely tons of netherrack, and what you can do is you can put down your netherrack like this, put a little bit of nylium in the middle. I started with just one piece. Let's just do a demonstration of that. Let's put a little bit of the crimson nylium there, and then just bone meal around it. And yeah, it starts growing. And then if you bone meal the nylium itself, you get the mushrooms. So you don't have to have a mushroom farm or anything like that. You can get those mushrooms just like this. And you have to do it on an adjacent tile. You can do a corner one, but you can't do it like... I can't do this block here. It has to be one that's relatively close to the other ones and go around all of that and then just silk touch it all up once it's done. And then the mushrooms themselves, in order to get loads of those, I can then just like grow those into the giant mushrooms like that and then harvest those, although they do go a little bit tall. Jeez, I'm going to need a platform. Now, obviously, the best way of dealing with this mushroom stuff or this nether wart stuff is a netherite hoe. Now, I don't actually have unbreaking or mending on this, but I do have haste 2, which should mean that I can pretty much insta-mine this stuff. Not far off. It's not quite insta-mine. It's not far off. And the bark blocks or whatever it is, the stem is still an axe, so you don't need to worry about that. So you need a couple of tools to get rid of all of this stuff, but you can get rid of it in pretty quickly and gather up a reasonable amount in no time at all. Takes ages. I know it does. I'm lying. It takes absolutely forever. I hate gathering this stuff. I'd rather go buy it from the shop, to be honest with you. You make it look even harder than it actually is. I know, I'm not very good at this. I've never done it before. I'm just making it up as I go along. I'll tell you why we're not getting the haste effect from this netherite hoe. It's because it doesn't have efficiency on it. We need to get ourselves an enchantment station and get this thing enchanted, or at least some books. I might actually have some books kicking around in my house. We'll go check that out in a minute. Okay, I'll go check it out now. Fine. Netherite hoe, what you got for me? Silk touch, fortune 1. Silk touch would be useful, but is it going to have... Oh, look at that. Unbreaking 3 and efficiency 4 in there as well. That's absolutely amazing. Oh, mending and efficiency 5, all gone. Oh, geez, what we got in here? Unbreaking 3, protection 4. That would be good for my armor. My armor was actually not very good at all. I've got fire protection 2 on my trousers. Wow, what a rubbish pair of trousers. And there we go. There's my box of many things, and I have Unbreaking 3 in there, which is amazing. Do I have any efficiency, though? Please tell me I've got efficiency. There we go, efficiency 4. Look at that. Fantastic. Okay, let's pop these things on our hoe. So first of all, we're going to put on the... What do we need? We only need the efficiency one on there. So there we go. We're going to call it Foxy's Hoe. Amazing. Oh, we know no mending on there. We need a mending book. So using what we know about Nylium, I thought it might be a good idea to try and make an automated farm in order to, get ourselves loads of mushrooms and this other red stuff as well automated. So I built this, which is basically a flower farm, but converted with Nylium instead. And there is a dispenser at the back here. And when you start the system, there's no lever on at the minute. I just have to put some redstone down. The pistons will shift about and the dispenser will fire. Now, I've actually deactivated the pistons for now because I'm a little bit disappointed. When I turn this on and the dispenser fires, it doesn't actually grow anything on the Nylium, which is very disappointed. So I thought I'd hop into a testing world and have a look at what we can do about this, if there's anything we can do to make this process automated. So in my creative testing world, you'll see I have a bunch of things ready for us to start testing, and the most common type of flower farm there is normally this one, but on Bedrock Edition, if you fire dispenser with bone meal in through a block with a flower on top, it will crash the server or the game. Now that may have been fixed, so we'll check that out in a minute, but if I get some bone meal and come over to this flower, you'll see if I click on that with the bone meal, we'll get the same type of flower. And if I just bone meal the grass, we get the long grass and a range of different flowers. If we have a dispenser above grass and bone meal it, absolutely nothing happens. But if we have one above that flower and we actually put some bone meal in, that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? We get the same flower again. Bone meal in from the side duplicates that flower too, and bone mealing from the side of grass does nothing. Bone mealing directly under grass does grow it and didn't crash the game. Bone mealing directly under a flower doesn't appear to have crashed the game today. Let's just do that again, because that used to be a thing. Maybe they fixed it. That could be fixed. This could be the way we do it. So let's try this with the Nylium stuff. We bone meal that, we get stuff. We bone meal that one, we get stuff. If we bone meal directly above it, nothing. If we bone meal directly above that, nothing. But what if we put, for instance, a mushroom there, or just a piece of this long grass? Will that do anything? If we bone meal the mushroom, well, that was interesting. Not quite what I expected, but okay. And what about if we bone meal this grass stuff? Absolutely nothing. Right, okay, what about this? If we bone meal to the side there, we know that's not going to work. However, what if we bone meal from underneath? That works. That works. That one doesn't. Oh, no bone meal in there again. That works. Yeah, so if we use the underneath way of doing it, we can then grow the stuff on top, which means I need to completely redesign my farm on Truly Bedrock, but we can get something from that. But yeah, you maybe don't bone meal directly on top of a tree. That's not good. Not ideal, mate. So using a command block and a clock, we can actually get an idea of the range of spread that we get from one dispenser. Underneath here, we've got a dispenser with the bone meal in, which is just about run out. We've got a observer clock, and we've got a command block here, which is just getting rid of anything that grows on top, and they're alternating, so it'll grow and then delete it. If I put some more bone meal in there and look up again, we can see how much spread we've got. So it's not a massive area that it's actually covering. So we could probably get away with just one dispenser on this. Now we need to think of how we're actually going to flush this out or get the items. We could still use pistons and shift the platform and just have rail underneath, which I think I'll probably end up going up with. The other thing we could do is we could potentially flush it all away with water and pick it up again, but that's going to be slower to do it that way, I think. So the hopper minecart system's probably going to be the easiest solution for us, I reckon. And so, with a little bit of jiggery pokery of the redstone and wibbling these rails around a little bit, we now have a dispenser under there, which we can't actually put a hopper to now, so we do need to manually fill it. Got a hopper minecart whizzing around underneath, we've got a redstone clock, and this whole thing is creating many mushrooms for us, and they hopefully are all getting picked up by that minecart, but I've got a feeling that minecart is actually probably full right now, and it's also going a little bit slow. Yeah, so this thing's too powerful. We either need 2 hopper minecarts down there, or we need more hoppers down here to actually take it all away. So I'm going to stop it again. I'm going to jigger about with it a little bit more, and I don't think it'll be long before we're done. I think we're going to have absolutely tons and tons of mushrooms by the time I finish with this. Before I do that, though, quick question. Can these crimson roots be used as bone meal? They can. Excellent, because otherwise they're completely pointless. So yeah, we could just feed all of those into a bone meal farm and just get more bone meal. Brilliant. Yeah, we've got a lot of those and not so many mushrooms, so we're not filter them out as such, but just get rid of them afterwards. Okay, I've just about put this thing back together now, and I have had an idea. What if I got rid of half of it and actually used the warped blocks instead? Will I get the warped stuff as well? Or will it only give me the type that it's actually bone mealing? So if we was to use, yeah, the warped stuff on this side, I've run out of it now. I don't have enough of that. But yeah, it's definitely working. Let's hop up a second and watch this thing in action. We just need to sort those pistons out so they're not fighting. Obviously done something wrong with my timings back here, which should be relatively easy to fix if we don't fall down a hole. That's pretty much got it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it'll do. There's a few bits spitting out the back, but I think we're getting more than enough. I don't think we need to worry about losses on here when it's so fast. If we look at this chest here, look how fast that stuff's coming through there now. If you're wondering how I am transferring items into that chest so quickly, it is purely because underneath there I have a ridiculous number of hoppers, all taken from this thing. 2 layers of them, yeah, taking through there and chuffing it in that chest. Hopefully the hopper minecarts aren't backing up. We can check as they come round. No, the hopper minecarts are backing up still anyway. Jeez, this is ridiculous. And it's all this red stuff we don't even want. Jeez, I just want the mushrooms, mate. Oh, man. What I would probably do with this farm, because it's going to be very difficult to actually get the right amount, unless we just made a really small one, which we could do actually. It doesn't need to be this big. We could actually make quite a substantially smaller one than this and get the reasonable amount through. But yeah, I'd probably just not run it for very long, because look at all that backing up on there. I'm smashing it to bits. It's too ridiculous. It's too fast. It's crazy. Smashing it all to bits. Forget it. Forget it's rubbish. And there we go. I now have a more compact, smaller version, which is running on a slower clock, and hopefully this time the hopper minecart will keep up. I tried putting 2 hopper minecarts in there, but even if they go around the same track, they still bump into each other. There are some serious collision issues with hopper minecarts at the moment, so that's causing a little bit of a problem, but it's still ridiculous. It's still absolutely ridiculous how much stuff you get from this thing. I don't know how to make it not so ridiculous. So I've got this chest here. It's not coming through as crazy fast as it did before, purely because there's not quite as many hoppers on there. And this is the old chest. But look at all of this crimson roots and warp roots we're getting from this. I only want the mushrooms. Let's check the minecart when it comes past, see what it's like. Yeah, it's full. It's absolutely full. The only other way I can think right now to do this would be to put a line of water sources at the back and maybe hide them behind some trapdoors or some pistons or something, and then alternate the bone meal and then the water dispersing and flush everything down to some hoppers at the front. But doing that's gonna be slower, although to be honest with us, the speed is our enemy at the minute. I mean, look at this chest. That's for them few seconds of running. We're getting so much stuff from it. But most of it is the stuff we don't really want. I mean, we're getting plenty of mushrooms, don't get me wrong. We're not going to need all of those mushrooms. We've got more than we're probably ever going to use. But it would be nice to get one that was just right, you know. Just the right collection system for the right type of farm, the right speed. But yeah, this is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But then I do like ridiculous things. So, you know, it's not the end of the world. Well, I got some interesting maths for you, and I'm feeling like I've got my maths wrong here because this is just ridiculous. I put 9 stacks of bone meal in this, and out of that, we got enough of the growy stuff, the red and the blue growy stuff. What's it called? The stalks, whatever it is, to get nearly 9 more stacks of bone meal from it. What? And we got nearly 9 stacks of the crimson fungus and 7 stacks of the warped fungus, but we got more of that because we didn't always have that. So I'm going to put another 9 stacks in there and just run it out. The other thing I want to test, there's one more thing I want to test, which I need my bone meal for as well, and is, can we limit the height of the giant funguses? Because I've got a feeling we can't. I've got a feeling they're not going to let us do that. So let's grab 9 stacks of that. Let's put it inside that hopper there. It's not a hopper, it's a dispenser. Yeah, that thing. Right? Flick that lever. And I'm going to have to occasionally come by and pick things up. Oh, and I want to take out those, otherwise it's not going to be a fair test, is it? In the meantime, though, while we're getting on with that, let's grab a stack of those and a stack of those. And let's see if we can limit how tall they grow on here. Oh, I can't put them... Oh, I need to... Who was that? Hey, you! Oi! Get out of it! Yeah, we need to nylium it up a little bit first, don't we? Oh, jeez. Where's my nylium gone? You would think you'd be able to put the fungus down on just normal netherrack, really, wouldn't you? It doesn't make sense that you can't to me. Because it's still nether stuff. Crazy. Crazy game. A quick update. The 9 stacks of bone meal have already gone through this thing and I've been forgetting to go and collect all of the stuff. So obviously it's all backed up because it's ridiculous. So I need to go and fill it full. Oh, jeez. Look at this. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's too ridiculous. It's super ridiculous. I don't understand. Why so many roots? Of all the things you could give us, why the roots? The roots are pointless. Now I need to take all of this stuff out of there. That's the stuff we got last time. Put that in one of these chests over here out the way. And then see what we got this time. And which means I've got to bone meal all of that stuff now. Oh, geez, it's going to take ages. Probably turn out there's some like really amazing use for this stuff and I'm completely throwing it all away, but I don't think there is. I mean, I was thinking, could you feed it to sea turtles? Because they eat like seagrass, but even if you could, you don't need this much of it, do you? So while all of that is going into our bone meal system and making us some nice tasty bone meal, it is now time to test, can we limit the growth of this fungus with a thing above it? And the answer is no. No, we can't. It will just grow straight through it. Oh my goodness. That is just ridiculous. Okay. Well, at least I've got a platform to get up there to chop it down from, I guess. That's absolutely ridiculous. Why have they not done that? Why have they not put a limit in it? It doesn't make any sense. And can I just go crazy and do it this way? I can. Oh my goodness. Also, yeah, completely ridiculous. Good. I'm going to have many of these in a minute then. Many. Now this is interesting. I've run out of the red mushrooms. Well, I haven't run out. I've still got the chest of them that we're using for our tests over there. But so I put down some of these blue ones. They're funguses, not mushrooms. Yeah. And these ones won't bone meal. Is it because they're on the wrong coloured nylium? Do I need to do those on the blue nylium? Because that's crazy. But look at this thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Because they grow on the red nylium. So you would think you would be able to like, yeah, do that on the blue nylium. So let's just check this out. Let's just put some of the blue stuff down here. Instead, put some of those on there and then try and grow those. Yeah, they grow. So they only grow on the blue nylium. That's so strange. Well, why does it let you bone meal them on the red nylium then? Very odd. Right, I guess we need some blue nylium then. Behold the ridiculous behemoth that is many of these crazy nether trees all jam-packed into one chunk. Wow, this is ridiculous. And look how tall this one is. I haven't grown that on top. That has grown from the bottom upwards, and it looks like other trees have grown underneath it, getting rid of its stem. This is absolutely ridiculous how big these things grow. And I need to try and climb up this thing to try and get up to there to destroy that one. Wow, this is ridiculous how tall they are. So as I'm chopping my way through this big mound of all of these funguses, it's become pretty obvious that when you grow lots of them together, these bits, the what's it called? My goodness, the nether wart blocks replace a lot of the stalks or the stems, and it's the stems I'm actually interested in more than the nether wart blocks, to be honest with you. So I think doing it like this, as much as you can gather a lot of the nether wart block very quickly, as you can see my inventory is absolutely full of it, I'm not actually getting many of the stems at all, so it's not exactly ideal. So yeah, I think in future I might space them out a little bit just so I can keep the stems. With all the junk removed and everything ordered nicely, you can see we got a lot of nether wart blocks, which I'm really not that fussed about, to be honest with you. Lots of the wart block, but not much of the stems, and not many shroom lights really for the size that we just did there. So I think in future I'm going to half and half this and do them a little bit more spaced out, and hopefully we'll get a bit more from that. This thing has finally finished. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I must have put more than 9 stacks of bone meal in it before. But still, 6 stacks of bone meal back from putting 9 in. That's ridiculous. And how many mushrooms did we get? We got... Oh, I've just added... Oh, jeez. A lot. Quite a lot. Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad from 9 stacks of bone meal. I'll take it. Right, let's take all of that. Let's take all of that. We've got absolutely loads and loads of this stuff now. We've got ridiculous amounts of things, which means I can finally crack on with building our nether portal, which is what we started doing many ago. Jeez, what a sidetrack. What a sidetrack. Let's do this. Well, I have been doing some works. I'm not finished yet. It's not anywhere near where it needs to be, but I have a problem. I have a little bit of a problem. As you can see here, I've got some what are known as crimson hyphae blocks, which are the log version of the stem. So when you craft the stem into a full block like that, you get the crimson hyphae. And you can see I've already put some there, and they are definitely the hyphae because they don't have the end of the stem on. And they placed there absolutely fine. But then I needed to place some more, and now I can't place them anywhere at all. They're not glitched in my inventory. I can take them out. I can let them go. I can put them in this chest here. If I click on the chest without them in my hand, I can put them away. I can place any other block, but I can't place these anymore. For some reason, these will not let me place them at all. They're completely and utterly glitched, and I have no idea why. It's very, very strange. But yeah, they are totally broke. I've tried relogging, that doesn't help at all, and it means that I've just wasted those blocks effectively, which is not ideal, and I have just had a creeper blow up in here, which is not great. And here we go. I am incredibly happy with how this turned out. It's a little bit crazy, it's a little bit strange, but I really, really like what I've done here. We've got these things, which I've no idea what they are, growing up from the floor. We've got the weeping vines growing down from the ceiling into our ridiculously deep hole of doom. We have the portal with the crying obsidian wrapping round it like it's holding it in place, and the stem with the veins on reaching up to the ceiling, and then using those shroom lights to just sort of, yeah, really help bring that across. That there's something mechanical going on, but at the same time, something a little bit natural and a little bit magical. Nether wart block ceiling, which is just gross, but also works really well with the colours to really give it a nethery vibe. And we've got the nylium, the red nylium here, that's on this little floating island. If we drop down the edge, you can see we've got a bit of a floating island above this giant hole, which has got glass on it. It doesn't actually need the glass because it goes a long way down, but the glass just helps just keep it nice and dark. But yeah, I really like it. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I wanted to do something a little bit crazy. I wanted to do something a little bit unusual. I wasn't sure when I was first doing it that I was going to be able to, wow, do what I achieved. Wow. But yeah, it's really come together a lot better than I expected it to. I'm really, really happy with how it's come out. It's absolutely ridiculous. And coming out this way, it's a little bit plain up there, but you kind of get the idea that you're coming straight out, obviously, from the Nether into the overworld. And it's just a really, really weird thing to have going on. We've got this medieval town that is going to be occupying this space here, or this kingdom, with this sort of medieval vibe. And then we've just got this magical, mysterious thing just over here that it looks like they've obviously adapted and built paths to. They obviously use it regularly, but they're not really sure what it is, the people that live in this area. So yeah, amazing, really happy with it, over the moon. But on that note, I'm afraid I'm going to have to say thank you all very much for watching this video. I hope you really did enjoy it. If you did, please do leave a like. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! Matches my colours look. I've got that like crimson-y look with the blue. Nether update based on FoxyNoTail, perhaps? Possibly? Nah, I don't think so.